All right, class, we're going to be doing some red word practice today, and we're going to be actually learning 3 new words. But before we do that, let's just stand up, and we're going to arm tap just a few of the words that we already learned. So if everyone's standing up right now, get your arms ready, get your tapping hand ready, and I'd like to tap out the word saw. Are you ready? S-A-W, saw. Let's do it again. S-A-W, saw. Next word is the word what. Tricky word. Ready? W-H-A-T, what. W-H-A-T, what. What's the tricky part of that word? Well, it's going to be the W-H part of that word because we don't hear the H. And actually, one of our new words that we're going to be learning this week will have the exact same tricky part. So that's coming up in just a moment. All right, let's try another word we learned. The word is was. Think about it in your mind. All right, let's tap it on our arms. W-A-S, was. One more time. W-A-S, was. The next word is the word very. V-E-R-Y, very. V-E-R-Y, very. All right, let's get right into some of our new words. So I'm going to turn my page. And the first new word we're going to be learning is the word when. Now, what's tricky about that? It's the WH part right at the beginning, just like the word what. You don't hear the H, but you do hear the W, the W. The rest of the word, the EN, is pretty straightforward. We hear the eh and we hear the n. So it's when. So when we tap this out, we're actually going to keep the WH together and then the EN together. So that eventually when we, in just a few moments, when we tap it out, we're going to tap it out like this. W-H-E-N, when. All right. First thing, though, let's get our red word paper with our screens. Let's put that screen underneath your paper. And I want you to write the word when. Now, after you check with the teacher and you have the word when on your house paper, would you please stand up and let's chant it 3 times. Here we go. W-H-E-N, when. W-H-E-N, when. One more time. W-H-E-N, when. Very good. Now, you can sit down, and I want you to trace your crayon for the word when. And do this 3 times. And remember, as you trace it, you're going to want to whisper the word. So when I trace it, it's going to be W-H-E-N, when. W-H-E-N, when. And one more time, W-H-E-N, when. All right, now place your screen over your word, and now I want you to do the same thing 3 times, tracing the word with the screen over the word. Remember, you're using your finger for this, and put a little pressure on it so you can actually feel it. You'll know you're putting enough pressure on it when you take your finger off and you can see part of the grid on your fingertip. Okay, once you finish tracing your word 3 times with your screen, I want you to turn your paper over and write the word when with your crayon 1 time. Don't use your screen. And make sure your teacher checks it. Once your teacher okays your word, you may write it 2 more times and then circle the best version of the word when. All right, let's do another word. The next word we're going to be learning is the word take. Let me write it on there. T-A-K-E, take. What's a little tricky about it? Well, it's this silent E here, and we're actually going to be learning a little bit more about that silent E. We're actually going to be calling it the magic E, because what that does is that E will actually make the A say its long sound, the A instead of the A. But we haven't learned it yet. So right now, this word is actually going to be a red word. Once we learn the rule for the magic E, this will actually turn back into a green word that we can actually decode. All right, so let me erase my marks here. And let's write our word on our red paper, on a new piece of red paper with the screen underneath it. I want you to write it with your red crayon. Put a little bit of pressure on it without breaking your crayon. And as you write it, I want you to make sure you're whispering the letters. T. Oops, got to get my marker now. There we go. T-A-K-E. Take. Make sure you're reading the word after you spell it. Okay, stand up, please. And let's arm tap this word. T-A-K-E, take. T-A-K-E, take. Now you'll notice I'm actually putting a little bit more stress on the final E, that magic E. That way I remember it a little bit more. So let's do it one more time. Take. T-A-K-E, take. All right. You can sit back down at this point and now put your you want you to take your finger, and I want you to now trace over the word take 3 times, whispering the letters as you trace and then reading the word. Do that 3 times. And now take your screen and place your screen over the word. You can put your crayon down and now use your fingertip. And I want you to do the same exact thing. Trace it 3 times with your finger, saying the letters and then reading the word. Okay, once you finish with that, would you please set your screen aside, flip your house paper over, and I want you to write the word take 1 time with your crayon. Don't need the screen for this. Check with a teacher, and once you do, you can write it 2 more times and circle your best version of take. All right, eventually you're going to be writing sentences for these words, and you can talk about it as a class of getting a short sentence with the word take. You might want to use the sentence, I take my dog for a walk. Or you can make it even simpler and say, take this. Make sure, of course, that when you write your sentences, you're using your cups strategy. All right, let's go to our final word this week. The final word this week we are going to actually be learning is a little bit easier, except for the ending. It is the word my. Now, why is this hard? Because when we say the word my, what we hear in this place is an I, but it's really made with a Y. And we're going to learn eventually that the Y can sometimes make a long I sound, that open I sound. But for now, we haven't learned that rule. That's why the word my becomes a red word. All right, so let's get our crayons and our screens, and let's get a new sheet of house paper, and let's actually write the word my 1 time, putting enough pressure so you can get those bumps showing for the word my. Check with a teacher, and when you're ready, you can stand up and we'll chant the word my 3 times. Okay, here we go with our arm tapping. Ready? M-Y, my. M-Y, my. M-Y, my. That was easy, wasn't it? All right, we can sit down, and I'd like you to take your finger and